Hello, and welcome to another segment of Squids Gone Wild. Just kidding! It's me, Ellie! I am so happy I finally get to do the 10K subscriber Q&A! Some of you guys have submitted some really fun and awesome questions, and I have been reading every single one when they pop up. I'm just so excited to start answering some of them, and that we have reached 10K. Oh my god, 10K. A 1, a 0, and a K. Oh my god, wow. I never thought I would actually be here after 3.5 years of YouTube. Well, of course, I've thought about it, but I didn't exactly think I would make it. Okay. Oh, okay. I am gonna start. Let's go. How do you balance being a single mom with both em employment, YouTube, even without the YouTube? Um, it is actually very struggling and hard. I know I have battled with my family on definitely helping me watch my boys sometimes, especially when I'm working. It is very hard, but I have somehow managed a juggling act. Mostly for me, it really helps that my sons are a little bit older now and they can somewhat grasp the idea of a schedule. Vaguely. Usually I don't do any of my YouTube work until late at night. That's when all of my family is asleep. My sons are asleep as well. But I stay up because I am just that type of night owl. I always have been. I cannot change my ways. I have tried for many years, and many people have tried, but I refuse to do so. And my body just can't get a grasp on the idea of waking up early. But mostly it is a juggling act for me since I do have two sons. And even though they are very young, they are very helpful for me. Yes, it's still a battle sometimes cleaning up, but I do somehow manage. Alright, would you rather have a real working lifesaver or have the Force, all of the abilities? I would definitely have the Force because I know if I have a lightsaber, somebody's gonna get into it and start using it. So I'd rather have the Force. Okay, what genre of music do you like? What's an instrument that you love the sound of? Does ASMR help you relax and sleep often as well? What's one thing you really like about making ASMR videos? Wow, multiple questions. I love it. What genre of music? I like a whole bunch of different stuff. My parents influenced a lot of their music onto me as well. Mind you, my parents are very different in age, so I got a very much of a variety of music. My dad loved country, western, and he was a much older gentleman when he had me in his life. So I like country music from him, old and new. With my mom, she really into music growing up, and she taught me a lot of stuff too. And I always remember on Sundays, she would clean the house and she would play the music she listened to. And once I got old enough and I started cleaning as well, I added my type of music that I liked, and she was surprised by some songs that I chose because there were a lot of songs that she liked as well. But as growing up, I did like a lot of pop music and especially a lot of rock. Growing up was growing up as a teenager, I did have some problems, but music really helped me a lot get a lot of my anger out, helped me kind of like therapeutic in a type of way, and I still do that now, especially if I'm sad or getting through some stuff. Music has always helped me a lot and has influenced a lot of my stuff, if you can't really tell. I've loved listening to music all the time, and a few of my VA friends on occasion, if we're lucky in our little VA chat group chats. Someone will play a guitar or a ukulele. I think one of my friends, he has a piano and he has somewhat broke out in cabaret music, and it is just fun and mesmerizing to listen and to witness. I've loved listening to guitars, violin, flute, and especially piano. Yes, it does. A few times, especially when I didn't start making videos and I would just listen to it. It really helped me relax. I actually came by the phrase ASMR when I was actually working at a hotel with my mom. I was bored and in the break room, and I wanted to listen to something while I worked. And I really thought of I tried searching for audiobooks because I do love to read. I have like 4 bookshelves in my house full of books, and and somehow my sons keep on finding some that I've been looking for. But since I couldn't find that many audiobooks on YouTube, I ended up finding these small stories, and then ASMR came into my life, and I really liked listening to them, especially comforting ones, because when sometimes I just need someone to be there for me, or a chance for me to break away from my reality, and I could be somewhere else doing something else. And I've always loved that feeling because sometimes I do need a break, and that's what I try to capture in my audios to take you away somewhere. I guess that's reason why I tend to do fantasy videos. Those are my favorite to do on the channel here. One thing I really love about making ASMR in these type of audios is really the story. I've been writing stories since I was 13, and it really was a way for me to escape my reality because I hated my life and who I was. Not because I was a bad person, because I was very, very shy. I went on weeks sometimes without even talking to someone. And yet here I am on YouTube doing talking and stuff like this, and it's kind of baffling to see how I was, say, like 10 years ago only. Yeah, only 10 years ago. And how much I've grown and gained confidence by doing this. But I think that really core aspect is what I try to accomplish. Not only to let you escape reality, but also know that I'm here too. I've been through stuff. We all have. Who hasn't? But that doesn't mean you're alone. And even if I can take some stress away, no matter how little it may be, and just be comforting me, or silly, crazy me, or even act like a badass assassin or a southern twang belle. I'm just glad that I'm actually here for you guys, and you like listening to my stories and my little worlds that I can create. Will you ever do a How to Train Your Dragon roleplay audio? When I saw this, I was actually playing around with it in my mind. I do have a dragon series. I've been meaning to get back into some of my old series, but I've never gotten a good grasp on how to go at them, because you guys really like my new series as well. But the more I think about it, the more I can play around with this idea, so it might actually come up if I actually somehow get a handle of a script. And I guess we can just wait and see, because I really do like the idea. I love it when you guys give me requests like this, and I wish some of you guys would actually give me more. I don't think I will accomplish all of them, but I am not afraid to try if I do like the idea. Any tips on getting the courage to talk behind a microphone? Ooh, I've actually been asked this question before by one of my friends when he first started out. One thing's for sure, you don't need a very expensive mic. The mic actually I used was a $20 microphone, and I got it off of the Wish app. And I've been still using it for 3.5 years, and it still works pretty good. Yes, I've had some bugs, but I've been able to manage and work through them. One thing for sure, if you use any type of microphone, it doesn't matter what type of microphone you use. I've seen people use a gaming headset and it has worked great actually. One thing I would have to say is definitely place your microphone in a good spot. One test that I always try when I'm sitting at my microphone is a breath test. It's where you put the microphone perfectly in that clearing zone. So when you breathe through your nose, like through your mouth or through your nose, that every time you speak, the microphone won't pick up through all the air. Another thing that I have learned is definitely try and calm down and pace yourself. When I write my scripts, I tend to put a lot of spacing between every other line because I do tend to talk fast. And I think that's because I'm part Italian and I get it from my mom, but sometimes I do need to remind myself, okay, slow down, take a deep breath, and let's conquer this. And so that would be my advice, especially when you're reading something. Don't rush through it. To actually gain confidence, it takes a while, but you have to remember, no matter how scared you might be or nervous, it always takes those few bearing agony moments of actually clicking the button and sending it out. I remember feeling those when I sent out my first few videos, and when I saw that there were a couple of likes, I was like, holy shit, someone actually likes this stuff. I'm sure if I do it again and again, I'll get better, and I actually have. If any of you bear to look at my first videos, they are pretty cringe-worthy. But it does take practice to especially building it up. You can't just gain it overnight. One thing I definitely do when I do feel nervous, though, is I actually have a mirror right behind my computer so I can look at myself, and I actually lip sing some very upbeat music. I look weird, it's funny to me, and it just puts me in a good mood to build up my confidence. So that would be my advice if you want to gain confidence behind a microphone. Oh, another thing would be if you don't like it, then try again, okay? You yourself are your toughest critic. So for me, I know I am very tough on myself, and I always make myself think, I can do better next time. I could be better than this. And I don't try to half-ass anything. Yes, I can slap together a script and put it together in my editing system and be up and ready within 3 hours. But I take the time and put in the work because I know that I can do this and I'm not going to be lazy about it. So you can be tough on yourself sometimes when you have to be, but don't be too hard on yourself, thinking, oh, this is complete crap, or this isn't any good, this doesn't sound like this. That might be true, but that doesn't mean you should give up. Keep playing around with it, and eventually you will gain confidence behind it. Will you be continuing the Farmer's Daughter series? I'm surprised how much you guys actually like my Farmer's Daughter. That was a real complete surprise. One of my first accent videos, and I was so glad it went so well because I was completely petrified that if I did an accent and it wasn't authentic, I would get that negative Sally down in the comments. You didn't do a good accent, and I'm offended. I didn't want that to happen and offend someone. But after I practiced with my VA friends for like 3 hours straight, I had this southern twang accent. And I am surprised that I was able to last 3 hours, even though I was cracking up the entire time. But I was surprised how well I could do it, and some of my friends who are from the South, since I do live in the States, who live in the South were pretty impressed by it and they actually liked it. So I was like, okay, bear with me, I can do this, give it a shot, and if it ends up failing, then I'll never do it again. But surprisingly, you guys really liked it, and I was so glad. So yes, the series is continuing. I'm gonna have to do a few things, given how the person who originally did the farmer's daughter voice, me and him kind of had a little argument. But hopefully I can patch things up if he ever talks to me again, and I can bring him back into the series. If not, I will always find a way. Hey Ellie, I have to ask, are you ever going to continue the Werewolf series? Oh man, that was one of my first series that actually took off, and it was so much fun. I do want to continue the series, and I have been constantly playing around what the next episode would be. I've been playing around with this idea for an entire year, actually, it seems like, because I've been kind of stuck or I've been sidetracked with other series. But yes, I never really want to end my series. I like them to continue on, but hopefully I can get back into it. And I'm so glad you guys are being patient with me with some of this favorite series that you guys love. What are some of your hobbies? Besides drawing and making videos is playing with my sons. If that doesn't count, then besides what I usually do as a stay-at-home mom, would probably be baking, working in my garden, and I just listening to music and mostly drawing. I've always remembered having a crayon in my hand, drawing, and that's some of my favorite hobbies, actually. And I'm able to make this into a career, so yay me! How do you get your mind off stressful things going on around you? Ugh, definitely putting on my headphones and listening to music. Again, music has helped me so much throughout my life. It really has, and sometimes I just need, like, sorry, my phone went off. Sometimes I just need like half an hour to an hour of just me being by myself in my office and listening to music and hyping myself up to do something, or trying to get the stress relief from my day, because my life is sometimes stressful, and it is the definition of a juggling act. And it is hard sometimes, but I manage through it. I don't just toughen it out. But I actually get through it, and my friends and my VA friends, who have really become a family to me, definitely helped me through that so much, and I don't know what I would do without them half the time. So I think my answer would be listening to music and hanging out with my dear friends. Where do you find inspiration for voices? Well, uh, well, my Southern Belle voice, I actually got the inspiration from, I know you're gonna laugh, but Blanche Devereaux from The Golden Girls. I love watching that show for the longest time. I love Betty White, she is one of my favorites, but another reason why I love that show was because Dorothy and her mother Sophia, that's basically how me and my mom act sometimes. One time I got so mad at her, I actually called her, "You Sicilian gecko!" But other voices, it's more like listening to other people and figuring out the right tone. I know I have tried other tones and they don't always work. When I originally did my villain on here, I did a really good dominating demon voice, kinda, and I was so mad that my microphone was actually messing up that day and cut off half of the entire script. I was so mad. I really wanted to check my microphone. But I came by that voice when, if you guys could have heard it, when I was playing around with one of my friends, and we were going back and forth with different voices, like pretending to be different people in a type of way. And he tried doing a demon growl, and then I replied with something like, "Don't you use that tone with me." But it really does take a certain tone and a type of character to do some stuff. I do get ideas from other people, and that does really help. Sometimes if I'm acting out, like, I don't know, some character from an anime or from a movie, and sometimes that does help. But not all the time with my tone and my voice or my personality. So sometimes I have to work around with those aspects. Has anyone ever judged you for being an ASMR YouTuber? Actually, yes. A couple of times, actually. And the worst part is, it's not through people I meet when I tell them what I do, because when I tell people I'm a YouTuber and I do this, they think it's really cool. But actually, my family judges me a lot for it, because they don't think I don't make any money, and it's just really a waste of time. My stepdad literally has told me that he tried listening to one of my audios, and he said, "You sound like a crazy cat lady. I don't know why you're doing any of this. It's pointless." I don't do anything. I'm lazy all the time, and when I go into my office at close to 10 o'clock p.m., and my boys are still awake at this time, that I'm neglecting my sons, and I'm trying to push them on to my parents to watch them. Sorry to disappoint you, my stepdad, because I'm not going to say his name, but I am not like your mother. I just really wanted to say that, to get it off my chest. I just really been wanting to say that. And my mom, she doesn't understand it either. She thinks it's more like a hobby. And when I try to explain her, hey, I actually have a Patreon and I have these wonderful people who are actually believe me and support me, though. Even though there's a few of us, they still support me, and she still doesn't really understand it that much. But my stepdad really has been the major negative factor when I do stuff. A lot of times he has made me feel like nothing I do is good enough, that I am a burden to my mother, and I am a horrible mother to my sons, and that that he has literally have brought me to my lowest points in my life, where I felt like everyone would have been happier if I was gone. So that's pretty much the most of it. Anyone else, when I tell them what ASMR or YouTube I do, the easiest way for me to explain it when they don't know those terms is I do voice acting, and they pretty much get the idea. But to be judged, yeah, it's mostly from my family. But luckily, my roommate really does support me. He does encourage me a lot. He asks me what's going on. When I tell him some funny comments that you guys do, he laughs as well. And when you guys actually do support me on Patreon, and I show my family that I'm actually making actual money off this stuff, it's surprised that he encourages me, but the rest of my family doesn't. My sons, they're little, but I do think they like it, because every time I go into my office to start recording, they just want to come in, join in, and grab a hold of my mic. And I think I saw my son Will one time almost get into my editing system. So So if my boys ended up on my channel one day, it does not surprise me one bit. My son Will loves being in the front of the camera, while my son Victor, he loves being on my computer behind the scenes and doing stuff. So it does not surprise me one bit that these boys might get into the same field I am. How was your day or night been so far? My day's been pretty good. My roommate was able to actually mow my lawn, and I was so happy I helped him out even because my grass was growing so long I almost lost my mom's chihuahua in it the other day, I believe. Only because my stepdad's supposed to take care of the lawn care because I cannot handle the sun very well. I feel like I'm a vampire half the time. I don't like the heat very well, and luckily he was able to do it today, and I'm so happy that I actually have a lawn again, and I don't have to worry about losing some small objects in the grass. Let's see. I don't watch that many TV. I do watch the cooking channel a lot, and DIY and History Channel, but those are more subjects that I find interesting, and I could put them on in the background sometimes, and I learn a few things. But I'm gonna go with favorite movies. I love anything black and white. I am a sucker for it. I don't care. Those are the only type of horror films I will ever watch if it's a black and white movie. That is, I'm watching a horror film and it has to be black and white. Any others I will refuse. But my favorite movies has definitely been The Wizard of Oz and Beauty and the Beast. Any adaptation of the Beauty and the Beast I have loved, and always have loved as a little girl. I'm not gonna lie, a couple of years ago when I was out in the mall, I stopped by a Build-A-Bear workshop, and I literally stopped in the middle of my tracks because I saw that in Build-A-Bear workshop you could have made a stuffed Belle or a bear beast, and I couldn't resist. It was an impulse buy, but I love it, and I still have my little stuffy beast today, and I sometimes hug him for comfort. I love him so much. But yes, those would be my favorite movies of all time, because I don't watch that much TV, actually. I usually watch stuff on my computer, which is usually anime or something. My tastes vary, depends on what mood I'm in. How did you come up with the name of your channel? Actually, Elio Card was originally going to be my pen name. I always wanted to be a writer, actually, and I thought it would be a good idea to make a pen name, so if I ever used my real name, people wouldn't hound me so much. And when I decided to finally do YouTube, I thought, well, this must be a good chance to finally use my pen name. How I came up with it was, my oldest brother, Eddie, he taught me a lot about astrology and stars and constellation and all that fun stuff. And one of my favorite constellations when I was a little girl was actually the constellation Draco. Yes, I love dragons. I can't help it. I am a nerd. Still me. But it was the constellation Draco. And when I was trying to figure out pen names, this didn't work, that didn't sound right, that's not original enough, and then the idea of the constellation that my brother taught me. I wrote it down and I was like, Ellie Draco. Then I might get too much of a Harry Potter vibe, even though I love Harry Potter. Again, fantasy nerd. Can't help it. But then, by chance, I spelled it backwards, and it spelled Ocard. And then I was like, that's kind of perfect. Because I actually do love playing card games. I love playing poker. It's kind of sad that I can take my roommate's money pretty easily when I play poker against him. But I also have a bunch of different card decks. When I travel, sometimes I get a new card deck from wherever I'm traveling, and it's my personal little souvenir that I love getting. And I just love the aspects of cards. It also made me think of Alice in Wonderland, which is another one of my favorite movies growing up. And I have one of the copies of the original story. And the idea of the Mad Hatter, the Queen of Hearts cards, and I just loved that idea so much. And I was thinking, and then the idea of when I made this channel, what would be a good logo? Well, since my name is O Card, might as well make it a card. I did have the original logo to be a full hand of card, kind of like when you play poker, and it had uh, uh, all the different houses for the cards, like the club, ace, the spade, and stuff like that. And that did work when I first started the channel, but then I really wanted to capture one thing that I really am connected to, and that was my heart. I love putting my heart into everything I do and showing you guys actually love. So I then settled on the Ace of Hearts card, and then surprisingly my logo, the actual heart, came from one day when I got out of the shower. My hair was acting really curly, and one part of my bangs started to curl up, and it looked like an upside down heart. I took a picture of it and flipped it upside down on my phone, and it showed the curl in the heart. And I was like, that's perfect. And it was really a part of me. So my logo came from my hair and my love for everything. And that's how I came up with my name, Ellie Ocard. Also, I don't always go by Ellie at first. My real name is Elizabeth, but I always went by Liz for the longest time. And one boyfriend I was with actually called me Ellie for a change. And then the name stuck when I started doing the YouTube channel. Now all my friends call me Ellie, and I really like it. What's one thing you can't live without? Music and headphones. If not, I would have killed someone long ago. That sounds a little creepy. Only because it's true. I do have a little bit of temper, and sometimes my family gets really on my nerves, and I just need music to actually keep my sanity sometimes. Plus, I know if I never had my headphones or music, everyone would listen to me when I'm listening to music or in a call, and that gets kind of annoying. Beans? Depends on what kind, but no thanks. Also, would you then have the ability to virtually anything, but you would also die within 5 days, what would you do? No, you can't extend your lifetime. Oh shit. I have no idea how to answer this. I would have to say probably just know how my family will be if I'm ever gone. Like, how would my kids grow up? What will they grow up to be? How will their lives turn out? I guess like that. Favorite ASMR trigger? Ugh. I've been listening to ASMR for quite a while, and audio at first did really get to me, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes if I listen to a certain artist, I would blush, and I think now, after so many years of listening to it, I have come somehow numb, but one trigger for me has always been a male, soothing, comforting, somewhat deep voice. Only because it gives me more a feel of security, protected, kind of like a dad feel, and I have always been a daddy's girl. I am not ashamed to admit it. And if you have listened to a few of my audios, I have mentioned that a few times. But I have to say that, or one would definitely be Don't Lie, a werewolf growl. Only because it just gives me goosebumps and chills sometimes. And now I think if any of my VA friends listen to this Q&A, they're gonna torture me with this now. How has your life been for the past year? Very, very stressful. Given how I this year I've had two sons. My youngest son is now 1, and juggling two kids, my family, my boys' fathers, and everything. It is juggling, but I somehow make it work in a way. It's, again, very, very challenging. I have had plenty of battles and yelling moments like, I need to work, I need to do this, and I can't do this, and it's a battle. But I somehow, again, manage. Why do I love you so much? I don't know. Maybe because I was made to be a dream come true. I don't know. I've always had people or people I've been with tell me that I'm smart, funny, very calming, a good influence, and I have a certain feel or energy around me that just feels calming, and I like that. What's your favorite Pokemon? Oh, Eevee is my favorite Pokemon. I like Eevee so much. I actually, when I first met one of my friends, she had, I think it was Charizard? No, not Charizard. I forget who. I can't remember names to save my life. But she had a Pokemon as her character picture. And I actually, when I got to know her, I drew her and me as Pokemon. I drew her as the Pokemon she chose, but I chose Eevee for me not only because of my hair color, but also I have always liked Eevee and all the different, I want to say elements? It's been a long time since I've ever watched Pokemon, but any, like, environment Eevee's in, she can eventually become part of that environment and have those aspects. I hope I'm saying this right. But I feel like I'm kind of like the same way, and it depends on the environment I am in, and I can change who I am, my personality, and kind of match people around me. Do you love me? Of course I love you. I love you all so much. You guys really are the reason why I do some of this stuff. I love you guys so much. Air kiss and hugs. Bagel? Yes, please. With cream cheese, preferably strawberry cream cheese. It's my favorite. Okay, now the questions on Twitter. On my Twitter that I got. Oop, that was my TikTok that I was watching earlier. Yes, I do have a TikTok, and I post a few storyboard drawings, and they're a lot of fun that I do of me and my friends, or of me and my sons, and yes, what I actually look like. If you guys ever want to see what I actually look like and how my life is, my social media does do that. My Twitter, my Instagram, and now officially my TikTok. Do you have long hair? And if you do you like it? Yes, I have long hair, and I hate like it. My actual hair length only goes to my shoulders. My hair definitely was a lot longer, like how my character is. It's just when I had my sons, my first son, he would constantly yank and pull on my hair, so I ended up cutting it to strain myself from the pain that he constantly did. And when he started growing up, I was letting it grow out again. But then I had my second son, and he did the exact same thing, so it's back to a short, cute hairstyle. And I'm letting it grow out again because they have now stopped yanking on my hair. So hopefully, within a few years, it will be back to the long length that I that I used to have. So yes, I used to have long hair, but my hair is now down to my shoulders. But I would like it to be long again because I really did like my hair long. It's just At that time, I didn't take care of it as well, but luckily I know how to now and take proper care of it. Alright, and last question. What was school life like for you? Was it rough or just boring? Oh man, I hated my school. I hate it with a burning passion. And um, to quote from the movie Silence of a Woman, I would take a flamethrower to this place. Only because in my city, I was very heavily bullied in every school that I went to. I went to every public school actually in my city. And high school was no better at all. I was very shy, didn't talk to a lot of people. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I would barely talk to people. I would stay in my own little world because no one was willing to talk to me. And getting bullied a lot made me feel very insecure. It wasn't until when I graduated. I actually graduated when I was 16, even though I was held back in elementary due to my dyslexia and having ADHD, bipolar sometimes, and OCD. I didn't let those things hold me back when I got into high school. I ended up excelling 2 years ahead, like I said, graduating at 16, and instead of going to college like how I wanted, my family was having very hard time with money, so I ended up going to a trade school. There, I was able to live on my own. And being there really helped me be who I am now. My school was horrible. I hated everyone there. Everyone looked at me like I was a joke half the time. I didn't try to be like them. I tried being like me, and I was constantly made fun of because of it. But I wasn't allowed to fully be me because my parents didn't like it. For so many years, I remember, and I still remember, people's voices yelling at me when I was younger. I'm so annoying. Why don't you go home? Go back from wherever you came from. Go run to your mommy or something. And some of that stuff still hurts till today after so many years. But I don't let it grasp a hold on me anymore. Because all of the negative anger that they felt or try to make me feel, I don't let it affect me so much now. I don't let it control me. Because I love doing this, and nothing's gonna stop or change that. They may have said that before, but I bet if they could see me now, they would be eating their words. And when I hear some of my friends going through the same thing I went through when I was younger, I try to reassure them all the time that, yes, it seems like you're trapped, you're chained to a wall, and all you want to do is scream and break out. I still remember those feelings, and sometimes I remember so vividly of how I felt during that time. But then I remember when I went to my trade school, where I actually met some amazing people. And they actually ended up liking me for who I was. I was finally able to speak and be myself. I could be silly. I can tell them everything that I've learned and know and show off some of my skills, and they found it so cool and amazing. And the fact that I got to meet so many amazing people and spent 2 years at that school, it really taught me that I didn't need to hide who I truly was anymore. I could be me, be the me I always wanted to be. I could actually be happy, and happy with myself for once. Because the real me is awesome, and I shouldn't have to hide that for anyone. No matter how much they may yell at me or say I'm weird. Why should I stop my happiness because they're miserable? I want to thank you guys so much for supporting me and being a part of this 10K Q&A. I hope you guys have learned a little bit about me, and I am so glad that you are actually here with me. I love you all so much, and thank you.